So the Democrat Party is filled with Marxists that just might sink themselves. Wouldn't that be nice? Their hypocrisy is always on full display. Chicago, or Chirac as we have now been calling it, aptly dubbed, right, is self-destructing. This month, gun-toting thugs in that city have already shot 160 people, killing 31 of them. And now Joe Biden is promising to send a federal strike force to crack down on the violence.
My hope and my expectation is that they're going to be coming relatively soon. I've made no secret of the fact that I think this is a matter of incredible urgency. And if I think the president's plan is to make a big difference in localities like Chicago this summer.
Well, I'm about to prove to you how she's such a hypocrite. That, of course, is Chicago's Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Matter of incredible urgency, she says. Last summer, facing the same murder spree, nearly the exact same numbers of murders, President Trump ordered a surge of hundreds of ATF and other federal agencies and agents to flood the streets of Chicago, to go after the illegal guns and gangbangers using those guns. President Trump dubbed it Operation Legend. But guess who didn't want the federal help back then? She turned it away. She wanted to anyway, Lori Lightfoot. This is what she said about President Trump's law enforcement surge last summer.
That's what we call tyranny and dictatorship. And we are not having it in Chicago.
So think about this. Lori Lightfoot wants federal help now because Joe Biden is sending it. But if President Trump sends it, it's tyranny and dictatorship. The people are under siege in her city. That is the exact hypocrisy that the people of Chicago cannot stand, because in their case, that hypocrisy turns deadly. But it's not just Chicago. Across the country, we have violent criminals being released back onto the streets with little or no bail, all in liberal cities, while we watch those who took part in the January 6th protest at the Capitol remain locked up. No bail. It's maddening because street crime and inner city violence does affect our lives in a very big way.
The last thing that I ever remember seeing was my son. My son stood in this door. He was screaming.
Well, he was screaming because she and her nephew, PJ, were shot in Memphis in their front yard. PJ, a 20-year-old man with a promising future. You see him on your screen there. Guess what happened to him? He died as a result of the gunshot wound standing on his front porch.
I do not sleep. I don't sleep. I don't eat. I don't do anything. I'm tired of being locked up in here. It's not fair.
Well, she tells the local news station there that she's tired of being locked up in her own home because she's afraid to go outside. Why is she afraid to go outside? Because the two people accused of shooting her and killing her nephew are out on bond. Just $15,000 set free. Tawana Ayers is one of the suspects roaming free now. Unbelievably, at the time of the latest shooting, she was already out on bond for attempted murder when she shot a driver, according to investigators, after a car crash in 2019. This 42-year-old woman has more than a dozen arrests for violent and criminal behavior dating back to 2001. And while she lives her life out of prison, guess who is in prison? The horns guy, Navy veteran Jacob Chansley. He's a man with no criminal history, a man who's never posed a threat to anyone. Chansley's crime? He attended the Stop the Steal rally and went inside Capitol grounds dressed absolutely ridiculously. He's charged with disorderly conduct and violent entry. But take a look at this video here. The man walked through an open door with a giant crowd and was not violent or causing any damage. Yet his lawyer says he's in isolation for up to 22 hours a day.
My actions were not an attack on this country. That is incorrect. That is inaccurate entirely.
Well, that's Jacob himself there. So a Trump supporter dressed in beaver pelts that claims an election is stolen, an all-around clown who breaches security at the Capitol, well, He's locked up for being a, quote, flight risk, according to the court. But a woman accused of murder, who also faces multiple attempted murder charges, think about it, if she was in prison, that man PJ would be alive today. Well, she gets to walk while the horns guy sits in prison. That is a two-tier justice system in America that is bringing this nation to its knees.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.